Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Connor Williams, joined by Cal Brannan, and it is the monthly review of April. We start this off normally with the news. I don't think there really has been much news. I think the only two that spring to mind is the basketball the basketball player, former player.
Jason Kidd.
Yeah, him joining. I don't know anything about basketball, so the sort of hype on that is lost on me. And that you can buy your season ticket holders can buy the top half of their seat in a nice case, which I think they've done to stop people from pulling them out the stadium. I think they're the only two real bits. I think that's the only news really. There's no contract.
I'm trying to think, I can't think of anything like that's actually important. There was the other geezer. Did he invest at the start of the month? It's the only other thing I can think of. There's that other billionaire who invested. That's the only thing I could. But besides that, I think that's it. It's been a pretty dry month for news, to be honest.
I'm back. I think other than that as well, Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well. His interview the other day was interesting. Basically saying that he'd be down to stay in. Obviously, that depends on what the club can afford to offer him and all of that. But I think that's the only other relevant news coming out of it.
It's good for him, to be honest, but I couldn't care less. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the bloke's knees are held together by sellotape and prayers. You know, he can't score 1-on-1, which is how we're going to get most of our chances, it feels. You know, I guess we've got McNeil back now, so the crossing service will be a little bit better. But Alcaraz's ball into Beto was quite good as well. But, like, what's he getting paid? It's definitely over 100 grand.
It'd be interesting.
Calvert-Lewin worth 50 grand a week?
It'd be interesting to see what they do. I imagine one of the Beto is probably off if Calvert-Lewin signs a new deal, and we end up chasing a striker this summer.
But, don't get me wrong. If the club thinks they can get most of the money we paid back on for Beto and then re-signs Calvert-Lewin, I'm not against that. I think overall Calvert-Lewin's a better player. But I feel like, Beto's done all right for us. He went on a bit of a skid, but scored the other day. He scored against Ipswich. I think I could have scored against Ipswich, to be honest. But, you know, so it's one of those where, it's like you said, the news hasn't been really particularly exciting this month. And when Calvert-Lewin might sign a new contract, when 95% of Everton fans have said we don't want him to sign a new contract, is some of the biggest news. It kind of shows the slow month. Again, the only other thing I can think of is Idrissa Gueye to the Saudi League. And the only reason I think that's important is probably because he's been our best player this season, you could argue. But again, that's still very rumoured, heavy. He might be going to Saudi, he might not. There's not really been much concrete news really this month besides the bits of investment and the Calvert-Lewin interview, which even saying that, was that even April?
No, that might have been May, to be honest.
We might as well mention it now, because I don't think we're going to remember that interview when we do the May.
No, we're not. We start off May's been a bit of a jam-packed month, 5 games I think we've got to cover. Obviously, we start off with the derby at Anfield. It was at Anfield. I think we've only won once there in my lifetime, so I wasn't holding out much hope. I think the biggest talking points were Tarkowski nearly breaking McAllister's leg in half. Very, very lucky to stay on the pitch, and McAllister's very lucky he's able to walk afterwards.
I think it's Tarkowski's season, that tackle.
It's a horrific tackle. I don't know why he follows through when he's clearing the ball, but it's one of them that looked bad, and then they slowed it down. And
you know what it feels like? It's one of those derby tackles where they're going in to leave a bit of a mark, but instead of leaving a bit of a mark, he's decided he wanted McAllister's leg as a trophy. I think he's so reckless. He's always not where he needs to be, and it's just like I don't know, man. I love him because of He's clearly passionate about the club, and besides this season, he's been fantastic every season we've had him.
And he's good at games as well. I think this now, while he's injured, is the first time he's missed. I think Ipswich was the first time he missed a game since we signed him.
And I mean, look how Ipswich went in his defence. So it's like, I mean, saying that, no one was stopping that first goal from him. But
no,
but yeah, well, one of the, I think it sums up what is like, a very bad season. Like seasons comparable to the centre backs that made us bring him in, like Godfrey, even Holgate and Keane. It's been that bad. I think he's not as bad as them. Nowhere near. He's a good centre back, but he's just having a bit of a crap stint. Because he still has his games in there where he's really good. He's in front of every ball. He's still really good at blocking the ball, but it just feels like he's constantly out of position and he just doesn't have the recovery pace to make that ground up. So a lot of the times, you'll see Branthwaite will get low match ratings because it feels like a lot of the time Branthwaite's having to cover both centre back positions at times.
Yeah,
and I just think it's like Tarkovsky's one of those where if you just look at stuff like FootMob, you'll think, oh, he's having a decent season. No, he's not. He's getting like 7 ratings because he's blocking 17 shots a game. But I mean, it's good, yeah. But like, you block 17 shots, but you were 13 yards out of position for the goal. And it's your fault they've managed to get him behind and score a tap in 1-on-1 with Pickford. So it's like, I just think it's very silly from him. But besides that, I'm trying to think of something that happened. I know we had some decent chances. I know that, but I'm just going. I'm trying to see if I can remember any of them.
Jota's goal was very good as well. The way he's danced through our defence.
Oh, the Beto chance.
Yeah,
Beto chance where is it Alcaraz puts him through? Oh no, it's Decore, isn't it? He puts him through, but it's like the worst pass ever played in football history that somehow bobbles through to him. He gets 1-on-1 with the keeper, and then somehow it's the post. And you know what? Calvert-Lewin can sign a new contract now. I've been reminded of that. Bloody wow, man! That is genuinely one of the worst misses I've ever seen in an Everton shirt.
Yeah, it's not great. And it's just pretty lackluster. Like obviously the Jota goal, which again, I hate to give him credit, but fair play. He's done really well to dance around. But it was, they got a lot of possession. I still think we did a lot of things right compared to the Goodison derby. We still did a lot of the same things to try and keep them out. We were narrow. We let them have the ball, but I thought they, didn't do a lot with it. I thought Mykolenko played really well against Mohamed Salah as well. I was quite impressed with
he always does, doesn't he? He has his 2 good games a season against Salah, and then is the worst left back in the league for the rest of them.
Yeah, which is I thought Salah was awful in this game. I thought he was non-existent.
He's been not that brilliant most of April, to be honest.
He's dropped off.
From what I've seen of the Chelsea game, tried to turn it off into this terrible, non-existent. I don't know. I think it's just one of those where, well, at the end of the day, what is he? We're not talking about Liverpool. What is he? Closing in on his mid-30s now. I think you're gonna have a slowdown at that age. It's just how your body works. So it's just but no, it happened. We had a few good chances. I think we might have been able to nick a draw, but we like players like Jack Harrison on the wing and no creative outlet. It felt like even the chance Beto got was a mishit pass that somehow still made its way through because of it. It looked like something you'd see on FIFA. So it's like, but then. What is it still? It was our first loss since the 8th of February. That game, don't get me wrong, there was only one win in that time as well, but it was still looking good under Moyes, something that's, it's coattailed off a bit at the end the rest of this month. I think we've gone back to looking more like the team we were under Dyche than under, which isn't Moyes' fault. I think we're still playing better. But I think, we've seen it with Everton. It happens all the time when the adrenaline runs out when we got the points deduction and then we went on that big run. and then obviously ended up finishing 12th that season with a points deduction, which was really good. We seem to really thrive on these little emotional moments, which it makes sense the type of club we are. We thrive when the emotion's high, but it got tailed down eventually, and I think this month has really highlighted the changes that need to be made in the summer and how desperate we are for upgrades in certain positions. But yeah, I just don't think there's much in it. I mean, moving on to the next game, I don't think there was much in this either.
No. Obviously, our goal came from it was the Lewis Skelly, wasn't it?
Yeah, the penalty on Jack Harrison, which
Yeah.
I can understand why some people were saying it's a bit soft, but also it is a penalty. It's a soft penalty, but it is a penalty. He obstructs him from getting it. So it was very silly from Lewis Skelly. Ilian Dye took away the penalty. Probably the best game he's had this month. I think he's had a bit of a disappointing month for his standards.
I think so as well.
Been a bit, well, no, he's just been crap, to be honest with you. And yeah, I just feel maybe it is because now playing out on the left is thingy, but yeah, I can't really. I think the defenders were fantastic. Tarkovsky was really good this game. Brownfoot, excellent. Besides that, I think Jack Harrison was okay for his standards.
Yeah, I thought Harrison had a good game. I think he had a tough. That left-hand side of Arsenal as well is very good. Obviously with Skelly there and Sterling.
I don't think either of the teams really did much. Obviously Trossard gets the goal, and they'd battered us for most of it. Get the goal. We had a little bit towards the end of the first half, but then second half was all them. Besides the goal was the second half, wasn't it? It was right at the start of the second half. It wasn't during injury time of the first, was it?
No, it was like 49.
No, it just feels like it feels like it's the problems Arsenal have is they not having a recognised striker, so it was easier for us to sit off. I don't think that Mourinho's an awful striker, but he's a central midfielder. He's a box crasher, isn't he? So it's one of those where I just felt like they were never going to score, even when they really dominated the game, because it just felt like I might be wrong. I'm going to have to double check. It just felt like a majority of the chances were really pot shotty. I thought they actually took more shots from outside the box than they did. They only took 3, but you look at some of these angles they were shooting from, and you just go, only 5 shots on target. Where I don't know if I can filter it out to shots on target, but having 5 shots on target when it looks like they had like 11 shots in the box kind of sums up Arsenal's problems, really, where I'm guessing quite a lot of them were blocked, but you can't be having 11 shots in the box and only getting 5 on target, I feel like you want, if you've got a decent striker, they probably put 4 past us there. So I think it sums up their problems, but with us, defenders were okay. Harrison was okay, and Dye was pretty good. There was no real cameos off the bench to talk about. McNeil made his first appearance, but didn't do much. I did even touch the ball. He had he didn't touch the ball. So yes, we can't really go into much deep analysis about this game because nothing happened.
Yeah, it's I think it's a decent result though. Against this was at the point where I think the league was gone for Arsenal, not mathematically, obviously, but I think it was. I mean, I think it's been gone for Arsenal for the last couple of months.
Yeah, was this not either? It was right before Real Madrid or right in between it, wasn't it?
Possibly, yeah.
I think it was right before.
I think they were never really in contention anyway, but
no, they're going to finish 3rd in a 2-horse race.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. It's worse than last year when it was them and City.
Well, saying that, they might finish 4th in a 2-horse race. Saying that, they might finish 5th in a 2-horse race at this point because they've got Liverpool next. Man City have got Southampton, and then Newcastle and Chelsea play each other, but Chelsea are currently beating Liverpool, so stinks for them. But to be honest with you, I think just move on to probably the highlight of the month.
The only win. Nottingham Forest, and Nottingham Forest as well, that are like this. I mean, I know they've teetered off a little bit now, but an inform for most of the year.
They were so bad this game, though. They were so bad. We look like the team that were in the Champions League. And I don't think that's a praise to us, but they definitely didn't. We doubled their XG, had way more passes, way more corners. You look at it and you don't really see us as a team where we're going to take it to teams, but this game we had to, because the way Forest play, they like to sit off. But I think it kind of shows the problems when you're playing a team like us that also doesn't really care to sit off, and also if we have to just hold the ball, they are willing to just hold it for long periods of time and do nothing, which is really frustrating. But it also completely counteracts Forest's quick counterattacks. If we're just not gonna, we're still gonna keep bodies back even when we're going forward. So it kind of makes the game. And also, I just think a majority of that, like Gibbs White, was so awful, and I really like Morgan Gibbs White. I think he's a fantastic player. I think Morgan Gibbs White was awful. I think that Murillo was really, really bad as well. And it probably should have been more if it wasn't for Sells. I mean, same goes with Pickford. I think Pickford had quite a few saves. Let me double check. Yeah, Pickford had 5 saves in this game. I think the entire defense, I think a majority of the team was pretty good this game. They were really well structured. The entire back four was pretty good, even Mikolenko. Both defensive midfielders were good. I feel like Decore's good is very much by the fact that he scored the winner, but also couldn't really miss that, for being honest. And Dye was awful. Harrison was okay. But I think it really shows the lack of quality Harrison brings, that McNeil comes on, immediately unlocks the Forest defence within 5 minutes?
Yeah, that Murillo for the goal as well.
Not even 5 minutes.
He was dispossessed far too. I'd be a bit fuming if I was a Forest fan. I know easily Murillo's been dispossessed, but it's a nice.
It's a good ball from McNeil as well.
Yeah.
It's right into the feet of Decore. It's perfectly weighted. I think if he'd have missed that, there might have been a decent chance he would have got his contract terminated, even though it runs out in a month's time. Because I think you could put most fans and they'd have buried that. So it's like, I think he was okay in the game. I think it was one of those games where you can kind of see why he plays Decore in that position. I think Decore is awful. I think he's arguably, if we're going to count him as a number 10, he's the worst in the league. Like, quite comfortably, I think. Who starts anywhere? You can't win 2. In this system, he lost 9 duels and won 2. And you're meant to be a ball, not a ball winner, but someone with energy who can win the ball in high positions and then play it in. That's what his job is. It's the entire reason we're being linked with Dewsbury Hall and stuff like that. It's the entire reason we brought Alcaraz in, because Alcaraz offers the same thing, loads of energy, but he's a much, 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 much better playmaker. But yeah, I just think Broya, sack it off, sack the bloke off. Yeah. He's a good. You know what he is? He's a good footballer, but he's one of those where I feel like he's going to need one full season of honestly maybe even championship football to just get the injury bug gone. Because I think he could score goals in the Premier League. I think he's a Premier League caliber striker, but I think he has to play in a team where, I think, for example, if he played for Ipswich this season and didn't get injured, I think he'd do pretty good. I don't think he'd have done as good as Delap, but I think somewhat like that would suit him. But yeah, he's not good enough. And if Calvert-Lewin does resign, he needs to be sacked off, because I think, like you said, we probably sell Beto. I'd loan out Chimiti, and I just don't. Is Broya worth the £30 million option to buy? I don't even think I'd pay half that at this point, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Trimity is in need of that loan as well that you spoke about. I think for this game, obviously, is this? Am I right in thinking this is the first time Dwight McNeil came back?
Uh, no, he
Is it
played
second?
the derby as well.
Oh,
But
okay.
like you say, it was literally 5 minutes in the derby, 5 minutes in this game.
It shows. It obviously shows how much we miss him because I think he's our best creator. But it shows how bad the rest of the team is at creating chances
Yeah,
when he's been out for like what, half a season, and still our top assister, and he's our third top goal scorer with 4 goals and 4 assists.
I think Ndai's performance shows it as well because, like, I love Ndai, but it's obvious he just does not trust the players around him. I think this game shows it. Every time he got the chance, shot. And I get why he does it because there's no way I'm trusting Jack Harrison, Decore, or Broya. I'm clearly the best player here by a mile. I'm going to shoot. Don't get me wrong, I think he's had an awful month, but I'm not going to slag him off when 99% of the other football he's played for us, he's been our best player. So it's like, it's one of those where it was bound to happen eventually. I think he is one of those players where he did it, same thing at Sheffield United. Very much, if he needs to, he'll put the backpack on. But sometimes it doesn't work when you put the backpack on, and this was one of those games. But thankfully, McNeil comes on, lovely ball in, easy goal, win the game. And probably that's the game that also ironically ruined Forest's Champions League hopes. I think they're going to get Europa League now, to be honest with you, especially if this Chelsea result stays the way it is. Of course, Newcastle just drew with Brighton, I think.
Yeah.
But good result in the end. Go away to a Champions League competing side, get a win, and then a Champions League competing side came to us and absolutely hammered us. Can't say I watched the game. I didn't. I was away camping, but I was checking it consistently on my phone. It does feel like the 2-0 thing is not flattering to City, but like we tried to go for it. We've seen it happen to Everton 100 times. We try to go for the game, they carve us open. Yeah, I mean, but it's just one of those. I will say from the highlights I've seen, the guy who scored the goal, that O'Reilly kid, is really, really good.
Yeah, he is. And that Kovacic's goal was nice, right in the bottom corner.
Yeah, it's just one of those.
It did
another one. Pickford was good. Again, I've only really seen highlights, so I can't really comment. I think from what I saw, people saying Ndai played well. But it was one of those where even though Ndai played well, from what I've read, we were never going to score, really. But yeah, I'm going through Ndai's stats here. Again, didn't watch the game, so if there's anyone who did watch it, I don't know if you did, Connor, but like I said, I was in the middle of a forest with like 1 bar of signal. There was no chance I was watching it. But it looks like it was really good. All these creative numbers are good. Defensive numbers are really good. Just one of those. City have really, really turned things around since.
They always get good at this time of year. They're very good at finishing seasons.
Apparently, from what I'm reading, the best player on the pitch was City's keeper, Ortega. So maybe we were better than I thought. But
defensively, we were good. For 75 minutes, defensively, we were really, really good. And then, obviously, first goal went in, and then that is classic Everton, that once the first goes in,
I don't mind when we do that, though. I'd much rather if we go 1-0 down in the 85th minute against City, instead of shitting ourselves, I'd much rather we go for it. If we concede one more, you went for it. They're probably, I'm going to be honest, if this City team started the season, they've probably won 5 in a row.
Yeah, they're. I think it's just. I mean, I get what you say about going for it. I think it's a problem we've had for like years, though. Like under all the managers of like when the heads drop,
quality there, go for it. That's all it is.
I think it's a mentality thing for a lot of them because when their heads go, they go, and like it's so often that we'll concede, and then we either concede again minutes later, or we lose the ball straight away.
Lazy defending, isn't it? Like, because do you know what? What I will say is a lot of the times when we go for it, we always seem to get a chance weirdly, but then it's either there's just no quality in attack, or hasn't been for the past since Richarlison left. And then sometimes the defenders switch off. Obviously, I mean, actually, one thing we didn't mention is we know why I turned in this game. Captain Useless comes on in the 52nd minute, and as soon as you see Michael Keane on a football pitch, we're not winning that game.
Is this the game afterwards that that David Moyes alluded to, like basically that Michael Keane won't be getting another run out?
No, and he shouldn't. I'd rather play an academy kid.
There was a press. I'm sure he said something in the press.
It'll have been after this because I'm pretty sure he was at fault for the O'Reilly goal.
Yeah, I'm sure it was this one, and he sort of like obviously didn't come out and go, "Oh, he's crappy, I'll never play again." But like, I think it was something alluding like you can see why some players don't play very often or something like that.
Yeah, and it's like I think it tends to look for problems, doesn't it? Like, it's not like a Moyes issue because I wouldn't trust players like Michael Keane or Michael Keane. I don't actually think the rest of the bench is that horrendous anymore, to be honest. The bench that came off, I think Beto's best role for us would be off the bench, coming off and running at people. Alcaraz, I think, is a really good player, and the rumours are it looks like we are going to sign him now, which is really good. Dwight McNeil's good. I think Robbenham's got a bit of developing to do, but still think he's a good player.
Yeah, it's a bit weird with him and Garner because obviously James Garner, he splits fans. Some fans think he's sick.
Do you know what he is?
Think he's not.
The splitting's perfect though, because that's exactly what he is. He's bang average. It's not a bad thing. He's a bang average Premier League midfielder.
Yeah, I've seen people saying that the style of midfield he is doesn't suit alongside Idrissa Gueye.
I think it does perfectly.
I mean, we'll talk about it next month, but him and Idrissa Gueye, the whole midfield didn't shine themselves in much glory yesterday against Ipswich.
No, but
pretty non-existent.
I love Gueye, but Gueye was the one who stunk it up in that game.
Yeah.
Gueye's like, I know Garner could have closed Enciso down, but Gueye's very lazy. Oh no, stick a leg out. And like, I get it, right? We're playing Ipswich, but like, surely there's enough research to go done and go, don't let him shoot from long range because he has that in him and had probably just scored what you could say the goal of the season.
Yeah, in hindsight, as well, Dwight McNeil probably should have just tugged his top and tugged him down. When he went past McNeil should have probably stuck a leg out or pulled his top to bring him down.
Yeah, like hindsight's 2020, and obviously you don't expect
him to run through the rest of the team. If you're a winger, you're like, surely the back line and the midfielders are going to let him run through like that.
But it's just like, I think they're okay suited to play with each other, but I mean, Gueye's good and Garner's okay. What are you expecting? Like, it's like I think a lot of fans let themselves fall for the James Garner hype when he's okay. Like he's not bad.
Like people would be like, I feel like people do the same with Irabunum. They're like, play him, he plays. We see why he doesn't play all the time.
Has got potential in terms of being a good Premier League midfielder, but like,
yeah, I think it might be a bit too early for him.
Yeah, I think Irabunum could be suited for a loan as well. Honestly, this might get me some slack. I can tell you what, out of the young midfielders that we've got, the one who's on loan now is the one who shouldn't be going on loan next season. Armstrong's gone down and been... I mean, we might as well talk about him while we're here very quickly. Has gone down. I'll make it very quick because obviously I don't watch every Derby game, but...
I know Derby fans absolutely love him.
Well, obviously I sent that thing into our thing, that my friend who's a Derby chat, into my friend who's a Derby fan, as 18, has gone down to the Championship, being one of the best midfielders in the league for them. Genuinely has been that good. Most games he plays, he's Derby's best player. Has played the full 90 he played 89 minutes against Luton. I'm counting that, I'm sorry, but I don't know why it's not letting me go back further, but since 11th of March is the furthest back I can go, which actually is, I think, when he started playing the full 90, has played 89 minutes against Luton. So if we're going off, he's missed 1 minute of football. He's constantly there. He's been playing a more defensive role, aka he's been playing the exact same role that James Garner's played. Is he going to get another loan? Probably. Hopefully, it's to a top championship side this time. Send him to a Leicester, if we can, to a Sunderland if they don't go up, because they really need like if we sign that lad from them, which I hope we don't. I think that Dan Neil or whatever he's called, I think he's very average. Listen, if we sign him from you, do you want to take Armstrong on loan for the year? But I think everything I say about Armstrong is very much of this is going to be another situation where it's either going to be another Tom Davies, where it's a lad who does have talent and we ruin his career, or hopefully it's more a Ross Barkley, which is what I'm feeling, which is where, like, again, if Harrison Armstrong, I think he has a high ceiling, but if he can get the similar to what Ross Barkley did at Luton, because I think that's more what he is. He's not, I don't think he's a 10, where he's, really good creatively still, but he works, and I think it'll do wonders for us. But yeah, I think I'd like to see him get a little run in the first team, maybe the first few games before the end of the window. If he performs, we keep him. If not, go have a loan, lad. But I think, yeah, Robinham as well could be more suited to a loan. But yeah, City, kind of what you expected, really. Yeah, I don't really... You expect it when we play City. And then the next game, crap as well, to be honest.
Yeah, it's finishing off what has been a quite poor month, to be honest. Jackson scores for Chelsea in just a really dull game in general, to be honest.
One thing I'm going to get, the people who defend Beto for this goal, I don't get how you can defend him. Like, he gets it and he holds it for 3 business days, where it's like, if you're a professional footballer, surely someone's running up behind you to tackle you. They are. So it's like, also, like, I don't know, I'd have to rewatch it. Surely he has enough time to quickly glance over his shoulder. Because even if Beto just goes like this and boots it the other end, we don't concede then. And if I'm going to be honest, besides that one chance, which, by the way, is... Sorry, I'm having to move. I've got pins and needles. It's a really good finish from Jackson.
Yeah, it is a good
really,
finish.
really good. But besides that, they didn't really do much else. I think the entire Chelsea team played well. But I even think the goalkeeper, who I think is genuinely one of the bottom half goalkeepers in the league, and Robert Sanchez, played quite well. But for us, Pickford played okay. Pickford played quite well.
Yeah,
but besides that, it might have been Beto's worst game in an Everton shirt. But this season,
yeah, I think it is. He did.
I wiped his performances last season from the memory, but there's definitely one last season where he's probably missed 17 sitters, and there's probably a worse one this season. Wasn't there one where he went around the goalkeeper and missed it?
Yeah. They're like moments though, aren't they? Whereas this was
this was all I usually think Beto's weirdly to say he's such a technically not very good footballer. I feel like he always usually has an okay game, even when he doesn't score, because he works so hard. Always wins fouls, always does decent in the air. But this game, I think this is the game that's, like you said, has made people go, which actually made people go, maybe I won't be against Calvert-Lewin signing a new contract. Because I feel like before this month, I feel like everyone was set on Calvert-Lewin going, and maybe it's the interview he's just done that's kind of turned people on him, thinking, in a good way, thinking, well, if he's saying he's willing to resign, surely he's willing to take a pay cut because it comes with the territory. But yeah, I think O'Brien was pretty good at centre back. This was the first game I think it's one of the first games he's played for us at centre back, besides like the cup games that he got. So it was really solid performance. I actually think he was the better out of the two. But yeah, besides that, I don't think anyone stood out. I think Schmidt looked okay off his cameo off the bench, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Showed a lot of the things he was good at. But yeah, besides that, I just think it was very bang average. And sorry, sounds like Chelsea have just scored another goal. So what we were mentioning earlier. That sounds like it's happening now for Forest, but yeah, nothing really happened, and that I believe that's the last game of the month because yeah, Ipswich was yesterday, which was the 3rd of May.
Yeah, it was. So, like we said, disappointing month in general.
Really, really bad month. If that Ipswich game was in this month as well, it'd be
Yeah,
like. But it's
I
like
mean,
what
it's
we
one of them, isn't it? We're reaching the end. We're safe.
last month, isn't it? And we only play
Yeah,
3 games. 3 games that are very spread apart. I can't wait for us to talk about the Southampton game where we lose 3-0, which stops them from being the worst Premier League
yeah.
side of all time.
I think I've been saying this for so long, but I think I said it in one of the other monthly reviews we did a while ago
Yeah,
as
we
well.
said it. It's
Saying how
written in
it's
the
nailed
stars.
on. And like when I watched Ipswich yesterday, I was like, it's 100% nailed on because like there was a big fanfare yesterday because it's the second to last game.
We play. Do you know what the worst part is? I mean, we might as well mention it a little bit now because of how short this is going to be. Don't go for too long, but the first even after the Enciso goal, the first half we were good.
Yeah.
The Enciso goal was just, to be fair to Enciso, magic. Gets it,
Mm.
slides past Adrissa and hits the ball so well. It's curving away from Pickford. He has no chance. One of the commentators actually tried to say Pickford might have been able to get that. And I was like, the ball's swerving away from him. He stands 0 chance. One of the goals of the season, arguably the goal of the season, but we absolutely battered him that first half. And it just had the lack of quality in attack shows up. Actually, I take that back. I think most of the attack was actually pretty good this game. And the stinker, unfortunately, was in Dye. And Dye was absolutely awful. And that's not just because he cost me on £300. He just needed to get fouled one more time. But besides that, I think Mikolenko, I think O'Brien was really bad as well, actually. I think this is the first game I've had where it's not just looking at his rating, but I just remember watching it and going, bloody hell, man. Like, the entire back line got carded except Branthwaite against Ipswich. You know, and against an Ipswich team where their best player was awful.
Yeah, this was interesting because obviously Liam Delap was like, I mean, I don't know if we will get him because there's other teams in for him, and apparently like the likes of Liverpool and United are after him.
Like, if you're Delap, right, realistically, you look at it and go, I think the two main ones are Chelsea. I mean, surely he goes to Chelsea. He's a backup striker. Like, I understand Nicholas Jackson's got his critiques, but Quanta own goal. Sorry, I'm just using this Chelsea game as an excuse to quickly fly through him. 10 goals, 5 assists this season. Can I go to his? I think he got like 14 goals in the Prem last season. Similar the year before. His numbers per 90 are really good. Nicholas Jackson's actually a really good striker, and I don't think gets the credit he deserves. And he is better than Liam Delap. He is better than Liam Delap. And Man United, did they give up on Højlund after spending? You know what I mean? United feel like a club where they're gonna just go well. And I also just think Delap's like their 4th choice. Like, surely they want Gyökeres.
Yeah,
and they get him is
a lot of the top
like.
for him.
But again, I think a lot of it depends on like the other teams around us.
Well, I was going to say it's just weird that like there was that video. Obviously, Joe Thomas, I think from the Echo, who's a journalist. So like, it wasn't the club that put it out. It was, but there was that video of him like going out at Goodison before the game, taking it in, which I thought was a bit odd. Anyway, because none of the other Ipswich lads are doing that. But then he signed the house as well, and it just
talking to him, haven't we? So
yeah,
I think just having a like, what's it like?
Yeah,
you know, I think my thing is if I look at the other teams in the league, Forest probably need a striker because Wood's good, but he's also very old. Brentford Fulham. But realistically, are Brentford and Fulham a more exciting choice than us when we're about to move into a new 50,000 seat stadium? And, it's just, I feel like we're in the same bracket as them.
I think Brentford are all right as well for the minute, aren't they?
Yeah, they're ninth, but it's like, and they're on really good form, but it's Brentford. And it's like, would you rather play for the team that finishes 10th and has 15, 20,000 people in the stadium every week and can't really pay you that much wages because of the way they're structured? Or would you rather, which don't get me wrong, we're not Wages FC or anything anymore, or would you rather play in the 50-odd thousand seater stadium with one of the best fan bases in the league where, you may finish 12th instead of 10th, but do any of the European clubs really need the lap? Well, and also, let's face the facts here, Man United might finish below us in the league.
Yeah, I just think he was doing a very good job of making it seem like he's going to sign with us. I think there are things you don't do unless you're genuinely considering us. Although looking at Goodison and taking it in will have only been just to take it in, because to see what it's like would be useless.
He hasn't played there before.
Else.
The only way I can think is, did he ever have a sub cameo for City while he was there?
No, I think he's been out on loan for most of it because he went to Hull.
But this season and parts of last season were really, he's weirdly broke out in the Prem.
Yeah, it's just interesting, and then he obviously didn't have a very good game, and I mean, people are sort of now on the fence. I don't watch enough of Liam Delap to say for certain, and I don't want to judge him off one game.
He's very much worth the 30 mil price tag. Because I mean, let me double check here. He has 12 goals and 2 assists for an awful Ipswich team. We watched that game. Look at how bad they are. Again,
he scored more than 1 goal in a game. No, he scored 2 early on in the season. But he outperforms his XG. I think his XG is like 9.
Give me 9.27 XG, has 12.
So he's very good at finishing his chances.
Last season, 6.29 XG, scored 8.
Yeah, so I get the feeling he's very good at finishing his chances, which is good. And obviously, like you said, it's a team where he's not going to get a lot of chances, so he has to finish.
He's not with us either, but it's like...
That's what I was going to say, but luckily, if he comes to us, to have a player like that who can finish.
Also, he's a good mix of Calvert-Lewin and Beto, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he's a big lad, isn't he?
Yeah, he's big, decent in the air, but also he's good on the ball, which I think is something we need, because sometimes if we the wingers just go anonymous. So sometimes, you need a striker who's going to grab the game by the balls and go, let me do this. But I kind of get it, but it's like, why some fans are like, oh, it's his first season, he might be a flop. He might be, but could you not argue that about every possible striker we could probably sign? So it's what we have to buy one. And if
you're not guaranteed.
If one of the premier strikers on the market, I guess, is saying, yeah, I'll join Everton, of course you take the chance. Do you know how? Because my argument is, how angry would fans have been if they'd have found out we could have signed a lad but turned it down because we thought he might flop? Some fans will go, well, no, you won't. Everyone would have been fuming and just said, here we go, no ambition from the club again. Yeah, if Liam Delap's interested, you at least talk with him. If we think we can get a just as good striker for the same or less, okay, but you still talk to him.
Yeah, I think he's. I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna judge him off one game because I think that's lethal to be doing that. But it's nice to see that clearly strikers are what we're aiming for, and
I do think we need to win them more.
Chances.
I really think we need someone in that Jack Harrison position more. I'd much rather, if we were going to spend 30 million on someone, spend 30 million on a winger.
I think we need. Well, I think it's not just that one. I think we need pace, don't we, down the wing.
I think fullback's decently cheap to get. Yeah, because if we can get Walker Peters on a free, there you go. Can play left and right back. Can play left and right back well. He's going to be free. I don't think he's the caliber of player where he can ask for like 80 grand a week. He'll probably just settle for like 50, 60, which is what probably average wage in the Prem nowadays. It won't be that far off. But yeah, I just think it's interesting. And I think next month we'll probably talk a lot more about transfers because I feel like May, June time is when it really... The big name journalists will start coming out and saying, links this player, this player, this player. And if, let's say, Delap, because if we want Delap, realistically, let's say his release, I think he said it's active now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's why this all came out. A few players who have relegation release clauses have had their things activated because it activates as soon as they are relegated. But if we want Delap really, really badly, let's say it's I don't know if it is 30 mil, it might be less. Because I'd be shocked. I think it was 30 million euros. Weirdly, so let's say if it is 30 million pounds, though, if the transfer window opens on, I don't know when it opens, but the 1st of June, we need to have that bid release clause activated 1st of June if we want him, and if he's interested, because we need, realistically, if United are interested, they can probably pay more. Saying that, can they? I don't really know, because I think they're going to have to sell as well, but it's one of those where we'll see. I think we'll probably have a lot more news to talk about next month instead of trying to waffle on to talk about more this month.
Yeah. I think we'll probably cover that. Next month is going to be quite heavy on that. I think that is the right place to end it, though. Obviously, hope that next month is a bit better. We can end the season with a high. But I mean, we're safe anyway, so
As long as we don't lose to Southampton, I don't care.
Yeah, so
don't lose to Southampton, and don't lose like 8-0 one of the games. Good month for me.
Yeah, it'd be nice to win that. It would be really nice to win that last home game.
If we pump Southampton 3-0 and lose the other games 3-0, I'm not bothered. Good month. We won the last game at Goodison. I'd love if we could dominate them at Goodison, but no, it's going to be a 2-1 with an 85th minute goal from like Mikolenko or something. I'm just going to be like...
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll have to wait and see. But Cal, thank you for joining me, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Don't forget, guys, you can like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Comment your thoughts for the month down below. Give us a rating for it out of 10. And we'll see you guys soon.